What's going on, boys? This is what rich men don't understand about attracting women. And it's that your money won't get you your dream girl. A lot of rich men and a lot of young guys, they go on monk mode, they stay focused on their career, trying to level up their finances just to attract better quality women. And here's what's wrong with that mindset. Should you make money as a man? 100%. Should you keep trying to make more money? 1000%. But it's not going to make you any more attractive to the woman that you want, right? In fact, it's going to make you more of a target, right? And I'm going to preface this by saying that I'm not rich, right? But I'm not poor either. And the most amount of women that I've got who genuinely were obsessed with me was literally when at the lowest, brokest moments of my life, right? The times when I was making the least amount of money. And I'll tell you what, these were not ugly girls, right? I have standards. Don't go for ugly chicks. These were good looking, attractive women who were obsessed with me. Not because I had money, because I didn't have that, but because of the experience that I could give them through my character, through my leadership, through the way I made her feel, right? And that's so much more important than what you can materialistically provide for the woman, right? Because when you lead with your wallet, I know a lot of guys leading with their wallet. One of my clients literally makes $45K per month, successful business owner, right? In his mid 30s and still struggles to have women having that burning desire, that genuine burning desire for him. And it's because he hasn't mastered himself yet. He's mastered his finances, he's mastered his business, but he hasn't mastered himself, his own masculine personal development, right? He hasn't mastered how to actually speak to a woman. He hasn't mastered how to make her feel good, right? How to engage her emotions, how to actually present himself in a good way to attract the woman that he wants. And so most of his experience with women has literally been, him paying for dinner dates, $200, $300 dinner dates, only to get ghosted after the second date, right? And this is a big problem for a lot of you guys who make a good amount of money. Because when you lead with your wallet, you're essentially telling the woman, this is all I have to provide for you, right? I can provide for you financially, I can buy you a meal, and that's it. And that's what she wants to use you for. That's what she relies on you for. And so she just starts to look at you as just, this beta male provider, right, so to say. But on the other hand, that same woman who you're spending $200 to $300 on a dinner date with, she's coming home to someone who probably works a minimum wage job, right? Took her to ice cream in the park for the first date, spent no more than $15, $20, and he's literally blowing her back out. While she's telling you that, oh, nah, I don't sleep with guys on the first date. Oh no, 90-day rule. Yeah, I need to know you for 90 days. You guys remember that? The 90-day rule? Funny, right? Women break all of these rules that they have, all these rules that they set out for men in public. Oh, he needs to be this tall. Oh, he needs to make this amount of money. Oh, he needs to be like this, like that. They break all of those rules in private. Best believe, and I know because I've been there. Guys, I've literally had women who I barely spent money on. I would be in their crib. They would bring home leftovers. They would go out on dates with some of you guys who are watching this video. Dinner dates, right? Fancy dinner dates. And they would bring me home some steak. They would bring me home some mac and cheese. You feel me? That's another red flag. If you take a girl on a dinner date and she asks for like a to-go box to get some leftovers, bro, she's gonna bring that shit home to another guy. Best believe, right? Because I've been there, right? And so I'm like, damn, this is what these women really do, right? I've literally picked up chicks on the street, right? Got their number, went out with them after they finished a first date with somebody else, right? They'll be all dressed up, just finished a dinner date. I'm like, oh, you look like you just got back from a date. They'll be like, yeah, I did. I'll be like, oh, guess it didn't go that well if you're, by yourself right now. They'll be like, you know how it is, right? And I would get their number and we would take it from there. So this is what you gotta understand. As a man, you must be able to provide, but she needs to earn that from you. And when you just give it to her, when you give her the fancy dinner dates, when you give her the crazy experiences, right? The helicopter rides, right? Flying them out and shit. She just thinks that you're low value. You think that those things make you seem high value when in reality they don't. Because she looks at you as low value because she didn't do anything to actually earn that from you. You just met this chick. And so why are you spending so much money on her? It's because you're compensating for something. It's like a guy who is overly jacked, right? And all he does is talk about his physique, right? Women think that that guy is compensating for something. They don't like it when you put too much emphasis on one thing that's good in your life. They think that you're overcompensating. So the best way to play it is actually to downplay yourself, downplay your achievements, downplay the money that you make, downplay, your accomplishments. Not saying to, dim your light, right? But just play it cool. Because when you play it cool, when you downplay things, it hits so much harder when they actually find out, right? She thinks that you're driving, a Toyota Prius, a Honda, right? If she fucks with you in the Honda, she's nice to you, she's respectful, right? She's feminine, she sleeps with you if that's what you want. If she does that with you in the Honda, that's how you know that she actually likes you for you. So that's the type of woman that you can introduce to the Maybach. That's the type of woman that you can introduce to the Bentley. But you pull that shit out on the first date, and then you're surprised when all you do is attract gold diggers. You're surprised that you're at your second divorce already, right? Because these women are literally using you for your shit. And so that's why I truly think that one of the best times to find a good quality woman is at your lowest point in life. When you're the brokest you've been. Because that's when you see who actually rides with you for your character. Now, if you have no sort of character, no sort of personality, no sort of charm, no sort of charisma to bring to the table, well, then that's a problem, right? Because then you have nothing to offer, right? All I'm saying is that a lot of the times, that's all you have to offer in the beginning. And that's the thing with a lot of broke guys. Since they can't lead with their wallet, they rely on their personality, right? They rely on their charm. They rely on their ability to engage the woman's emotions to make them feel a certain way. And that's always more powerful than leading with your wallet. Because women are emotional creatures. You get their emotions, you stimulate their mind, you stimulate her body, right? You stimulate everything about her. But this comes with reps. And when you put yourself in this materialistic position, you take them out on dinner dates. First off, when you take a woman out on a dinner date for the first date, you can't even build real chemistry there. You're sitting across from her usually, right? A lot of you guys, I don't recommend this, but you sit across from the woman just like this. And it's almost like confrontational, like it gives off an interview vibe. It's not seductive, right? If you are gonna do a dinner date, I always sit right by their side, right? So we would sit side by side so I could, break the touch barrier, right? Be closer to her, right? It's a lot more intimate that way. But dinner date, really, you can't get to know a woman on a dinner date because you can't really engage her that same way. That table acts as a barrier, right? And then you're eating, your filet mignon, your lobster, whatever you ordered. You're not even gonna have much time to really speak. And that's why literally some of the best dates are drinks, just casual drinks at the bar, drinks at the lounge, where you get to just chill back, enjoy a drink, and get to know each other. That's the whole purpose of the day, to get to know her, right? You are trying to qualify this woman. You're a guy who worked for everything that you have, right? You built up this life, you built up this business, and you're ready to just give it all away to a woman you just met, right? You wouldn't even do that with your employee, right? That's like your employee asking for a raise on the first day of the job. Would you give it to them? Probably not, right? They have to earn that raise. They have to show that they're loyal, they're hardworking. And so you would put your employee through all of that, but what, a woman that you find attractive, she just gets to pass all of that? You're automatically signaling that you're actually low value. That's why there's so many guys who have money who literally have to pay for it. Pay for it, right? And I had a group of friends who were in the same position, quite frankly, right? They were cool with women, right? And then they got good paying jobs, right? Good careers. And as soon as they got that touch of some money, as soon as they got a little sniff of it, it's like all their game went out the window, right? They forgot how to actually interact and attract a woman naturally. And so they started leading with their wallet, and they literally started paying for it. Paying for it. Going to strip clubs, escorts, you name it, right? And so I had to stop chilling with them because I'm not on that time. That's the one thing I'll never do. Never paying for it. Never in my life, right? Never. That's a non-negotiable. But the thing is, even if you're not going to strip clubs, even if you're not paying for escorts, when you go on those fancy dinner dates, you're still paying for it. You're still paying for it. At the end of the day, what, you're spending $200 on a dinner date? Bro, you could pay $200 for an escort. And she will, at least this one will actually sleep with you, right? That one's just gonna use you for a meal and then never talk to you again. Or she's just gonna keep using you for meals, right? Versus if you just got to know this woman naturally, right? I love to do walks in the parks. Those are some of the most calm, some of the best dates I've been on. We're just like getting a bagel, getting a drink, going on a walk in the park. It's nice. You're in nature. You're in your primal state, right? You get to sit down on a bench, watch the birds chirp, watch the nature. Just speak to her like this, right? Get to make her laugh. Get to break the touch barrier. You know, do your thing, right? And it's so easy to escalate from those types of scenarios. You know, build up that tension on the date and then be like, yo, let's go back to my place. Oh yeah, my place is just 5-10 minutes away. You want to take a walk? She's always gonna be down. But the thing is, when you have those fancy dinner dates, especially on the first date, it's like you're pressuring the woman. And a lot of times, like, these women really do feel pressured, right? That's why they don't sleep with you after. Because they feel like, oh, you're just doing this to get to sleep with them. And that turns them off, right? It turns them off. Because they're like, why do you have to do so much just to sleep with me? Boy, you can't engage me with your words, with your vocal tone, right? With your charisma. And if you're a guy like, oh, I don't have charisma. Oh, I don't know how to speak to women. Well, yeah, no shit, you don't, right? Because you've been running the same plate over and over again. How are you ever gonna get better at something unless you try to do it in a different way than you've been doing it before that hasn't gotten you any results that you want? So if you're trying to build that charisma, then it's time to, put your wallet away. Take $50 max to your first date and just lead with your personality. If your personality sucks, you will get better over time. You just have to keep rinsing and repeating. Oh, Max, what if they don't agree? Well, what if they say they only accept dinner dates? Well, bro, I'm gonna tell you this straight up. There's only two things that you can do in this situation. Number one, she's only saying this because you tried to lead with your wallet on the dating apps. If that's how you guys matched, You try to show off that you have money too much. You try to show off your materialistic things. And so she's literally, you're only attracting gold diggers that way. Or in person, when you were attracting this girl, somehow like you just gave her that vibe, that you're gonna take her out to a fancy date, right? And if you didn't do those things and a woman tells you, oh, I only do dinner dates, I only do fancy dates, right? I don't do walks in the park, I don't do drinks for the first date, well then cut her off and never speak to her again, right? There's plenty of fish in the sea, my boy. You work so hard. You sacrifice blood, sweat, and tears for your business, for your career. Just to what? Just to try to validate yourself to a woman who, what value is she bringing to your life, right? Is she gonna distract you from your business, from your career, or is she gonna build to it? You don't even know. You don't even know this woman, right? And I'm not saying you can't spend money on women. I spend money on women once they're actually my woman, right? Once she's either my girlfriend or if I'm doing a rotation, I'm seeing this girl, consistently. I'm not cheap. I'm not saying be cheap, right? Still provide an experience, right? But that's once they actually showed you that they deserve it, right? That they bring something to your life besides just their presence and what's between their legs. They gotta offer more, right? They gotta offer more. You feel me? And that's why so many men are giving up on dating, because you guys go to dates with these masculine women who just use you for drinks, meals, flights, you name it, right? Some of you guys literally take these women shopping. Fucking ridiculous. Bro, shopping. Wild. All that just to get the box. All that hard work you put in, and then you're just gonna throw it away just to get the box? Is that really what you want? I don't think that's what you want. Even let's say she does sleep with you. It's not gonna be the same, right? It's not gonna be the same. When a woman genuinely has that desire for you, right? I've had this girl, multiple women actually, sleep with them. They start sniffing your armpits, right? They start licking you. If you've never experienced that, that means she's not that attracted to you. She's not, right? Signals like this tell you that, okay, this girl is actually like, she's into me, like on a physical primal level. One of the easiest ways to do that is to get in shape. Get into the best shape that you could possibly be in, and just watch how many women are naturally attracted to you, right? Oh, but Max, isn't that like validating? No, it's not, because you're working on yourself for you. You're building your best physique, right? And it just so happens to be attractive too. Simple as that. Get into the best shape of your life. Increase your testosterone, right? You're gonna have that sort of aura about yourself. You're gonna carry yourself different. You're gonna start leading like a man. Some of you guys, you're able to lead these big teams at work, right? You're a leader at work. You manage all these employees, and then you get in front of a woman that's attractive, and all of a sudden you're a shell of a man. All of a sudden you don't know what to do. All of a sudden she wears the pants, right? So how is that? That makes no sense. Bro, you led yourself to go to school for 10 years, to be a doctor, to be an engineer, and then what happened? You can't even lead her on a date. You can't tell her what to wear. You can't tell her to show up in this place. You can't hold her accountable for being late, right? It's a self-respect issue. Once again, getting in great shape, that will build your self-respect. Taking care of your presentation, dressing better, grooming yourself, taking care of yourself, that's going to increase self-respect. Having a morning routine that keeps you disciplined every single morning, staying consistent with that, staying true to your word, cutting off your bad habits, whether that's drinking, going out on the weekends, all of that builds self-respect, right? And one of the most important things that builds self-respect is simply having boundaries with these women. Having boundaries. Oh, you don't do dinner dates? That's all good. Kick rocks, right? If you had an employee who told you on the first day, oh, I want a raise or I'm out, you would tell them, kick rocks, I'm gonna get a new employee, right? Well, why don't you do that with women? Why do you let them off so easy, right? That's the thing, it makes no sense and they know it. They know this, right? They know this shit. And let me tell you what, when you're rich and you lead with your wallet, guess what? That woman that you're going out with, you think she hasn't been with other rich guys who have literally done the same thing as you, have led with their wallet? And so you think that, oh, I'm gonna take her to this fancy restaurant. I'm gonna take her on a helicopter ride. We're gonna go here, we're gonna go there, we're gonna go on a trip. You think that's gonna make you stand out, when in reality, it just makes you blend in with every other rich guy who tried that same game on her. But you know who's gonna stand out to that woman? The one who just looked at her like another human, but was like, yo, let's go get some gelato, walk in the park. Bro, think about it. You're a woman, you're hot, you're attractive, you literally have millionaires hit you up every day, trying to fly you out, this and that. And then this guy who, he looks good, he's in shape, but he's not wearing anything fancy. He's kind of just wearing like just a nice outfit, maybe a polo, right? But it hugs him nice, hugs his physique nice. He's well groomed. Comes up to you, right? Asks you out in a very direct, masculine way. And tells you, yo, we're gonna go on a walk in the park. You down? Right? Bro, she's gonna go for that guy. That's gonna be the guy that she's obsessed with. That's gonna be the guy that she's bringing leftovers to. The leftovers from you, the ones that you paid for. That you paid for, bro. Just know, which guy would you rather be, right? But you could be the guy who's broke, who she's obsessed with. You could be a mix of this guy and the guy who you are now. The guy who's financially secure, right? The guy who has things going for himself, who has his life in order, but just doesn't put them on a pedestal, who doesn't lead with this, right? Save that for the woman that deserved it. She's your girlfriend, she's your wife. Sure, take them out to nice dates, right? Fly them out. Go ahead. But only after they showed you that they're worth it. So Max, what are some good first dates ideas then? Bro, literally anything. The purpose of the first date is to just get to know the chick, just to build up that escalation. If your goals is to sleep with her on the first date, which I'm sure most of you guys want to do, well then you need to pick a spot that makes it easy to escalate. So I wouldn't do coffee at 12 p.m. You're at a cafe, right? Bright lights, everyone around you is like chit-chatting, you know what I'm saying? Like people are on their computers, working from home, right? You're having coffee, sitting across from each other. It's not seductive. I wouldn't do a coffee date. Lounges and drinks are some of the best ones. Walk in the park, like I said, right? That way you guys have some alone time, right? You can have that intimate moment on the bench, break that touch barrier. You can do some sort of activity, right? Just choose an activity that you're good at. Don't choose one that you're bad at, right? Don't choose one that you never did. Like for me, I can't roller skate. I'm not taking a woman roller skating on the first date or ever, because I'm a bust and fall on my ass 20 times during that date. Simple as that, right? For me, I might take her to the gym because I'm in great shape. I can lead her through the activity. I can show her what to do, right? I can easily break that touch barrier. That's another great thing about, being in shape. You could literally just take them to the gym, right? Easy first date, easy one, right? People in the gym know who you are. Status signaling, easy, right? And then other women in the gym see you with another chick, and then it just compounds. They're like, oh, who's that? They're like, oh, let me get at him, right? He's attractive now. because you have pre-selection now, right? So just choose a spot that makes it easy to escalate, easy to break that touch barrier, easy to get to know her, get into her vicinity, drinks, activities, walk in the park, simple, right? I wouldn't even do straight to the crib. I wouldn't do that. I don't care if you're rich. I don't care if you're broke. Wouldn't do straight to the crib just because number one, these women are usually low value, right? We don't want to mess with those women. And number two, if you are a rich guy who's watching this, you probably have a nice crib. Last thing you want to do is bring some random chick over to where you live, right? That's the last thing you want to do. Why would you do that, right? I don't even live in a fancy crib, and I don't give girls my address on the first link. In fact, I actually prefer to go to their house. Guys, these women are crazy. Sometimes you literally gotta check their medicine cabinet. 90% of these women are all on meds, crazy meds, right? And you're bringing them into where you live, and then she finds out you got money, bro. You're just asking to be set up at that point. You're asking to be set up. You're asking to get robbed, get drugged. Who knows? Who knows what, right? Or maybe she'll just be so obsessed with you, and then she comes slashing your tires, comes throwing rocks at your windows. You know what I'm saying? So, I wouldn't do straight to the crib. I would always meet them out in public, get a feel for this girl. If you can, literally go back to her spot. But if you can't go back to her spot, once you've vetted this girl, make sure she's not crazy, right? Make sure she's safe. Then you take her back to the crib. Also, pro tip, especially if you got money, set up cameras in your spot. Set up cameras just for number one, there's going to be proof and evidence that everything was consensual, right? Everything was consensual. She agreed, to hook up with you. She agreed to be there, right? And for security purposes as well, right? To make sure that you don't get set up, right? You gotta play the game different when you're rich, when you got some money, when you got shit to lose. You have to play even safer, but a lot of you guys are doing the opposite, right? You have to play even safer because women will literally pretend to be everything that you dream of and manipulate you and gaslight you. Wife, right? Get that ring and then divorce you and take half of your shit, right? Leaving you depressed, stressed out, ready to give up on dating. All because you didn't set the boundaries in the first place. So don't let this be you, right? Don't let yourself get played by the woman who expects you to spend money on her, right? Spend that cash when she's out here fucking the guy who works at McDonald's. When she's out here, going straight to the crib, some other guy who's nowhere near on your level. All because he had the confidence, the boundaries, the physique, the sex appeal, the charisma. Don't let yourself be that guy, right? Because I've seen both sides, right? I've seen the guy who's successful and struggles with dating come to me for advice. Someone who may not be as financially secure as him. But I have the game, I have the systems, I have the strategies, right? I have the ability to get them in the best shape of their life. I have the ability to give them the systems, teach them how to actually speak to these women, teach them how to actually engage with them in a way that is going to save them time, energy, resources, right? So it makes sense. And I've been the guy who was broke, right? Who women would literally go out on dates with the richer guys and then come back to me, right? Show me texts of what these guys are saying to them, right? The good night texts, the paragraphs. You feel me? So if you're a guy who is ready to stop wasting all of the resources that you work so hard for, stop wasting your time and your energy, and you're just tired of being in this endless rut of going out with women, spending money on them, and then never hearing from them ever again, and you want my help with this, guiding you every step of the way, helping you get your presentation on point, get into the best shape of your life, helping you present it and market it in a way that's literally gonna have high quality and high interest women who won't use you for just your money, literally coming into you on autopilot, right? So you can just sit back, let the matches, let the DMs, let the messages come in, and then you get to pick and choose who you want to go out with. Get to, you know, don't spend too much money on them, right? And have the dating life that you've always wanted. The dating life that, quite frankly, you deserve because you've worked so hard to be in this position that you're in right now. Don't let another woman take it away from you, right? So if you want my personal help with this, if you watch my videos, I have a lot of free guides on this YouTube channel, right? But if you're ready to take it to the next level, and you want to work with me directly one-on-one, click that link in the description to book a one-on-one call with me. We're gonna get to know a little bit more about your situation, what your life is like, how's your physique, how's your dating life, how's it been affecting you, and then we're gonna see if it makes sense for us to work together. If it does, cool. If not, all good, right? But click that link, book the call, and I'll see you boys in the next one. Make sure to like, subscribe if you found this video valuable. See you boys in the next one. Stay dangerous.